February 13th. It is 5:30. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Dr. Noel, can you lead us?
Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Present.
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 Thank you, Mary. Well, good afternoon. It's great to see a full house today. So thank you all for joining us. 2.1, comments from the audience. Do we have any comments from the audience, Mary? No comments? Moving on to 2.2, Campesinos Sin Fronteras presenting a donation check.
So I will just briefly speak on this. So I am the Director for Youth and Family Services at Campesinos Sin Fronteras, and if you want to introduce yourself.
My name is Marlene Roman. I'm a coordinator for Campesinos Sin Fronteras Youth and Family Services youth programs.
And so today we're going to be presenting a check to the district and in hopes of working together and bringing all of our youth programs that we currently have at other districts and want to continue to expand our services. We do have, it's positive youth development, so anything from mental health, social health, physical health. We want to be a support to our schools and our teachers, and so we just want to be able to enrich the schools with our program. So we are thankful for the partnerships, and we're going to present a check.
That is awesome. Yeah. Thank you.
So the check is for $5,000 and it's for the school to use at the school.
Dr. Noel, you want to have a picture?
Mr. Flores, come on, Mr. Flores.
Thank you. And on behalf of the board, and we thank Campesinos Sin Fronteras for their generosity and their great services that they do offer for our students. So, thank you, Ms. Torres. Moving on to 2.3, recognition of ELC Bionic Stars robotic team. Yeah, you wanna? Yeah, Miss.
Thank you, Chair. And hand them to them, or how do you want to do it?
So you want to let them know what we have? You'll let them know what we have, right?
Yes. So good afternoon, board president, board members, Dr. Noel, and everybody here in attendance. I'm Mrs. Escalante, Jessica Escalante, and I'm the proud principal of Encanto Learning Centers, Shining Stars. And we have an amazing group of students and coaches that have dedicated since the beginning of September, if I'm not correct. They started programming, practicing, learning how to code and stuff like that. And so today we have our ELC Bionic Stars, and they got first place. If Mr. Hernandez is one of our coaches here, and if in December they were able to get first place for their innovation project. So like the theme was masterpiece, so it had to be related to arts. So they were able to create some really cool chef goggles that you would put them on, and it would tell you your fridge, and it would tell you what you could cook with whatever you had in your fridge. So it was really good, and also you can see like a chef cooking on one of the lens and while you're cooking. So kind of like a little ratatouille, but it was really good. And so they won first place in their innovation project, and so that placed them to go to state at ASU back in January, and they were able to attend, and they brought back a trophy because they won first place in their core values. So we are very, very proud. Especially because we were the only a school from Somerton representing Somerton, so they put Somerton on the map. There was also 50-something more teams ranging from elementary to high school, so that's like huge. And we are very, very proud of Mr. Hernandez and Mrs. Olivas, and is she here? Oh, she's in the back. Who are the coaches and day and night prepare these students. So for them, we have a certificate, a medal, and a tote bag. With Ms. Bionic, who is the robot they use for their challenges. So last year it was Mr. Bionic, so now the woman is represented, and so they named her Miss Bionic. So, yes, so I'm very proud of them. Congratulations once again. Okay, so we have Karime Verdugo, Milana Fernandez, Henry Ramirez, Yaritza Avalos, Annabelle Duron, Isaí Gutiérrez, Rafael Tamayo, Renata González, Javi Gutiérrez, Javi Gutiérrez, Valerie Olivas, and of course our coaches, Mr. Ignacio Hernandez and Felipa Olivas. So yeah, this year they were able to obtain a 10 student team. Last year there was only 4, so it's growing, and we hope to keep it going. And we also want to mention Mr. Munoz, who was a former principal, and he started this. So I wanted to continue, and thank you for everybody else who supported our school with funding and all that stuff. And yes, so yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Okay. Now moving on to a 2.4, recognition of spelling bee finalists. Call the names on this is a recognition for spelling bee. I think everybody can hear me well, right? So we have seventh grade from Somerton Middle School, Cristina Vianney Martinez. We have from Somerton Middle School, eighth grade, Miguel Ángel Álvarez. Eighth grade, Somerton Middle School, Destiny Ann Rubio. We have from Orange Grove, sixth grade, Mia Romina Reyes. From Orange Grove, sixth grade, Eileen Stacy Camacho. Orange Grove, sixth grade, David Josiah Garcia. From Jesuit Sonora, fifth grade, we have Jorge Aaron Molina. From Jesuit Sonora, fifth grade, Abigail Beatriz Rivera. Desert Sonora, fourth grade, Alexander Damian Zavala. From Tierra del Sol, sixth grade, Jose Daniel Valderrama. From Tierra del Sol, fifth grade, Carlos Caín Ornelas. Fourth grade, Tierra del Sol, Edgar Palomera. From Encanto Learning Center, fifth grade, we have Rafael Tamayo. Encanto Learning Center, sixth grade, we have Ricardo Joel Jimenez. From Encanto Learning Center, third grade, Ruben Alexis Tenorio. From Grade 18 Soto, sixth grade, Nathan Hector Castillo. Brady Soto, 6th grade. We have Caleb, Alfie, David, Sanchez. Sun Valley, 6th grade. Christopher, Jair Gaxiola. Sun Valley, Ian Ricardo Moraga Espinosa. Fifth grade, Sun Valley. So we can all just come in right in the middle. Did anyone arrive late that maybe they didn't get a certificate? ¿Alguien llegó tarde que tenía que haber recibido un certificado y no lo agarró? ¿Sí? ¿Qué fue eso? Sorry. That was awesome. Congratulations, guys. That was awesome that we couldn't take a picture because we had so many students. Thank you guys for coming. So moving on to 3.1, report from Dr. No. Yeah, let's just wait till.
That's one way to clear a room.
Yeah. We're just here for the awards, right? Yeah. Hey, that is the most important thing, right? So,
So for my update, we are making progress on our construction. We do have a bid date for the land, an auction date for the state trust land. It's May 1st. We have submitted plans to San Luis for expansion of SVS. We're waiting for those plans to be approved. And we're working with our attorneys to work out how that exchange happens. So that's continuing to happen. I have been having the public meetings. We've not had a large turnout. TDS had a really big turnout, but the other ones have been pretty small. And but everywhere we go, we just collect a list of things that people consider capital priorities. Usually there's, somebody's there, the staff is there at least. And so we just been collecting the information. They're still ongoing. And I want to thank you for completing your conflict of interest forms. I know that's kind of a hassle, but we're required to do it every year, so thank you for taking care of that for us. And then under Ms. Say's report, because she was unable to be here tonight, she's coming back from a training in Phoenix, and she did list the Teacher of the Year nominees. We'll be recognizing them at a later date, probably next month. And then she did also include a board report for you to talk about the Teacher of the Year nominees, and that we do have a gift that we'll give them and we'll honor them at that next meeting. She did meet with the APS Peak Solutions team, and our staff met also with them, and they're considering being a part of this peak events plan, and she'll be giving you more details about it in the future, but it's about not using electricity during peak hours, and we actually get a savings by doing that. And so they're exploring that. Cell phone policy, we had to hunker down on the cell phone policy at the middle school. Originally, they had 1 and 2 times that a phone could be taken away if it was being misused, and then the third time it would be taken to the office and the parent would have to pick it up. But because of the events and the way the phones were being used and the distraction, we said there's no more 1 and 2. So we notified all the parents and the families that if we see your phone, we're taking it away, and we don't want to see it. It shouldn't come out of your pocket. Don't need to see it at all, because your phone should be put away. If we see it at all, then we're going to take it to the office, and the parent can pick it up from there. And that has been a pretty good dampening effect on the events that have been going on. But we still have a lot of cleanup, and we called some of the other districts around to see, are we the only ones that are having this problem? And it seems to be like this thing going on among middle schoolers everywhere. So it's really a strange kind of event. It kind of feels irrational to me, but I guess they just have gotten into this fervor of recording things and then trying to make things happen and then record it and then publish it. So we're working hard to get that dampened down. And then we're getting ready for the Azella testing cycle. So Ms. Garcia will be conducting the trainings with the staff, and the school sites are ready to be able to do the Azella testing. So we're going to be coming into that. So that was from Ms. Say.
Now, I just have a question, Dr. Null, on the cell phones, because I know we kind of modified that. Any pushback from parents or students, or no?
The parents, too, are frustrated with the same thing. There's always a few who disagree with what you're doing, but overall, it's been well received, and it's a problem for the parent as well. They, too, are like going, what are they doing? You're kidding. What is happening there? So it's kind of a shared problem. There's always individuals who disagree with it. We're hoping that with time, maybe things will change and we won't have to be so strict about it. We did get a policy advisory from ASBA just recently, and it's for a draft reading tonight. But it is something that around the state, people are considering, how are we going to address the cell phone use? Also, cell phones are very expensive. So it's really kind of tricky having that expensive of a device in children's hands at school. That's also become a problem. So no one knows the right answer, but everyone's trying things, and this is what we're trying, and we'll see if this will be enough to make it work. Because we know that parents want their students to be able to reach them if there were an emergency, or for getting to school or on the way home from school, they need to contact a parent if something should happen. So we all feel that need. So it's kind of a tricky thing, but we can't have them being used the way they were being used. So we'll be bringing a policy adjustment. We're researching what other districts are doing. We've collected sample policies from others. We are well in the policy that we have. We can implement what we have implemented. So what we want to do, though, is bring the actual policy out and have you all look at it and concur or suggest what you want to have done differently. But we did take the action we took, and we were clear to take it because of the events that occurred. So,
any questions or comments?
I have a question. So same procedure, the phone gets taken away, parent has to pick it up. And then is there a strike 1, strike 2? We haven't had any incidents yet.
We just take it. We take it. So on the second time or the third time, we still take it. We take it to the office. The parent can pick it up there. So we haven't said anything more like if it happens 3 times, 4 times, we haven't said anything like that. Mm-hmm. The parents have been pretty supportive with not wanting them to misuse their phone either. Mm-hmm. So far it's worked fine.
Okay. I just know as a concerned parent, and I've had, concerns as well from other parents about, just what's going on, nationwide, and safety and kids having access to their phones. And so I don't think it would be an issue in that situation, right, in an emergency. So I just want to know what, it's the same procedures, and, that they can rest assured that if an emergency does happen,
they do have it. So, they can have it.
Right.
So
that seems to settle that.
Right.
But, well, and then when we look at the policy, you all can decide if we want to do something different. What we're doing now is well within the policy we have, but we'll bring you some models and some ideas, and you can make a decision about if you want it to be as a district at a different way. I'm also collecting from each of the elementary schools. We had a discussion at the leadership meeting, and it seems like we're all on the same page, like we're doing the same thing, even at the earlier grade levels. So we're going to bring that to you so you can see what we're doing now at each of the schools, and then you can decide what you want to be in the district policy and what you want to be just, you might want to put a broader statement in the district policy and allow some room at each school. That's up to you. That'll be your call.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Thank you, Dr. No. 4.1, board members report and board attendance. Ms. Torres?
So I think all of our recognized students are gone, but I just wanted to recognize them again for all of their hard work. It takes guts to stand up on stage and spell. I can't do that. So my own daughter was, top 6 at OGS. Woo, go Orange Grove. But I mean, I kid you not, we repeat the word that she missed, ever since she missed that word. And so, so kudos to the teachers that helped prep for that, and to the students. Congrats again on that spelling bee. Robotics, awesome creations. I would love to have those goggles to tell me what to make for dinner every night. That's hard. And the cheerleaders as well. I don't see cheerleaders here today, but great job to the cheerleaders for winning another competition. Again, all of these great things happening in our district, and proud to be a district member. And just keep doing what you're doing. Azella testing coming up. Just keep your eye on the prize.
Thank you, Ms. Torres. Ms. Clark?
Nothing to report.
Ms. Delgadillo?
Nothing to report. To echo what Laura states. So congratulations to everyone.
Thank you. And likewise, congratulations. Ms. Torres really said it all. So great job. I do want to say that I've been attending the middle school basketball games. My son is on the team, so I've been going, and the cheerleaders are excellent job. Those boys are practicing hard. They're playing as a team, and whether they win or lose, I see the team collaboration, the team playing in the game. So great job to the coaches and everyone. So just wanted to say that. So that's all we have for board reports. We're going to move on to 5.1. Mr. Velasco and Ms. Polich, SMS, storm damage, and remediation.
Mr. Velasco, can I mention one thing to
Sure.
them? Just a moment?
Sure. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I also forgot to acknowledge our future superintendent, Mr. Duron. He's here in attendance. I am so sorry, Mr. Duron. But
So, under board members, on your thing, there are two PDFs. One is a rain damage list. You had asked for a report of a teacher that lost, personal items, so there's a list there. And also there's another very short list that summarizes the amount and the losses. Mr. Velasco is going to give you more details, but I did make that summary for you so that you could see the totals. Okay?
Good evening, Board President, board members, Dr. Noel, and audience, colleagues. Report presented is a general overview of the events that have transpired due to rainstorms, and some of the measures that we have implemented, and mitigation measures, again, that we have put together in working in conjunction with Laura Rosario here at the district level, working with setting up dreams with the trust, just putting a bunch of information together, which again is part of the claim, and again the measures and mitigations that we have done due to the rain events of January and February as well. We are scheduled to start here soon. I believe they're starting this coming Monday at Orange Grove. And as far as Somerton Middle School, we have been working. I have been working on a new roof project through a building renewal grant. Where I could say we're at 90%. We're in queue to get a new roof. We're not there yet. It's a work in progress, and one that takes many phases that you have to go through those phases. We were, due to the pressing need, I contacted the state. We were awarded a grant for $47,000 for mitigation of those emergency roof leaks. And that's what we are currently performing those repairs right now as we speak. And we're set up for, equipment and cabinets and different things being replaced through the trust, through those claims that have been submitted already.
And we, by doing the work that he's doing to document everything properly, that roof, the roof at the middle school is going to cost over $2 million. That's $2 million that we don't have to spend as a district. So we had.
2.7, yes.
We had to, 2.7?
2.7.
So we had to stick with the way BRG, the Building Renewal Grant Program, wants it done, and go in their order. And how many years has it taken? 2?
Well, I worked on this for 2 years already.
2
Yeah.
years.
So-
It's taken to do it. So when this last storm came, Martine called him before and said, the storm is coming, the storm is coming. But we just had to let it fail because that's, again, the proof that it needs done. And
Yeah, I've been able to work with my liaison through the State Facilities Board, and it's been a long and a hard process just because the present need is there, but a lot of times it's like telling a story. You have to show pictures, documentation, and it's been a long process, but we're almost there. We're in queue, and it's a matter of funding as well. Monies that we don't have, and that we can save the district by incoming monies through those building renewal grants projects that we have. Yeah.
so we'll have the new roof and we'll also have the damage that was done will be remediated. And that cost will also be the SFB's cost. So
And not only that, but I want to take the time and opportunity to acknowledge our crew, because every time it rains, it's like we just plan, we get ready, we set up a plan of action, we deploy to the schools, we identified and update our list. We work with the personnel doing the roof repairs and update that list as needed, and we go back at it again. So it's working on many fronts too, because we're not only working with the state, but we're also working with the claims that have been submitted, with the vendor that is going to be performing the remediation services, testing that's got to take place prior to construction. So luckily, we haven't been displaced, but we've been working super hard for the state to acknowledge and see what we're seeing down here. They've been, again, we're almost there, but again, we're in queue for funding and for a new roof for Somerton Middle School. What is going to follow next, it's going to be Orange Grove, and we're currently putting that documentation together as well.
So the personal items that were lost that you asked to be reported are on the list that's on there. It's called the rain damage list. And it appears to be mostly books. At the bottom, there are a few paper things, composition notebooks, spiral notebooks, those kind of things, which we do supplies of that anyway at the schools. But you can see there's a list of books there, and those were bought apparently by the staff member. And that's the problem. We have no funding source to, our insurance covers what we purchase as an institution, not what an individual purchases for themselves. So it looks like we had some loss of some books that were personal losses.
Also, as the claims get submitted, we probably get in touch with the vendor performing the remediation services. They have been here and made their initial assessment. In fact, I just prior to the meeting, I met with the vendor again and also the trust adjuster, because the trust wanted to put eyes on this because it's pretty significant. It's across the campus, so it's quite a bit. So the trust was here this afternoon, and they were very favorable in accommodating to our needs. Again, we're got to meet with the principal and put a plan of action together to address, to create a movement within the campus and accommodate those classes. So to minimize to the least, any disruptions to instruction and at the classrooms. Any questions?
Questions, comments? Martin, I do want to thank you and your crew and everyone involved. I mean, even 2-year process for that 2.7 million that
It just takes a
really
long
our
time.
district really doesn't have, and I mean, we're very thankful for you and everyone involved doing that work, because I mean, I so wish we did have the money and for us not to go through this, but unfortunately, I mean.
And our staff also has been very understanding and willing to go the extra mile, because again, we got home the Monday, January 22nd, we got home at 12. So, we performed mop-up operation, cleanup, just to assure that our classes were not going to be interrupted the following day. And, and then, of course, February 1st, then we got hit again, and February 6th, we got hit again. And they've been, again, very, willing and able to do what is needed, and I really want to commend their work ethic and willingness to be here and do whatever it takes to get the job done.
Thank you. And I just have one question, Dr. Noel. On those personal items, I know you mentioned that we don't have like a funding source for it. Let's say even if as a district we wouldn't be able to, because we'd be gifting, right?
Well,
And that would be
the trick is it would then belong to us, not to the teacher.
Right.
So if we purchased those books through some other funding source, like donations or something like that, we could purchase them, but they won't belong to the teacher. They'll belong to us as a district. So that's the trick with it.
And even if let's say we would want to, we wouldn't be able to because of the gift of public funds.
No, because we
Right.
wouldn't be giving them, we
would-
wouldn't be giving the teacher money because those books would belong to us. So we could buy the books, but they would belong to the district, not to the teacher. She would, whoever it is, would take it with them.
And I know that question was asked by, I believe by one of our board members. So I just wanted to make sure that it's not that we wish we could, but we're tied in
Right.
to that.
Melissa and I brainstormed, we couldn't come up with any source that would not, it ends up belonging to the district.
To the district, right? Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Thank you, Martin.
Thank you.
Comments, right? Good. So we're gonna move on to consent agenda. Does anybody have a question or wish to pull something from consent agenda? No? Need a motion? Motion was made by Ms. Clark, second by Ms. Delgadillo. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to 7.1, approval of ASBA 2024 calendar of recommended and required actions for the governing board's administration's review and use.
Just basically a list of dates and months when you normally would take care of actions. So we use it as a guideline to keep us timely on what we're sending to you to do each month.
Questions or comments? Need a motion? Motion was made by Ms. Delgadillo,
Second.
second by Ms. Clark. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to 7.2, discussion and possible action to approve resignation of Dr. Laura Knoll, Superintendent, effective June 30th, 2024.
So I just want to let you know I changed my mic now. Just kidding.
So I do have something that I wanna read. This is on behalf of staff. So it says, "Dear Honorable Governing Board Members, we want to take a moment to express our sincere gratitude for Dr. Knoll's dedicated 10 years of service to Somerton School District Number 11. We thank her for her leadership, vision, and commitment to our educational community. Under her guidance, we have witnessed numerous achievements and advancements that have positively impacted the lives of students, educators, and families alike. Her tireless efforts to build new schools for our growing community and foster a culture of excellence through a growth mindset will leave a positive impact. While we will miss your presence and leadership, we are grateful for your contributions that will continue to shape the future of our district for years to come. On behalf of the entire community, we extend our heartfelt thanks for your service and wish you all the best in your future endeavors. May your next chapter of retirement be filled with good health, fulfillment, and happiness."
It's very kind. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Knoll.
And that's a good picture too. I'm going to miss Dr. Seuss Day.
We can always have you as a visitor, as a reader.
Read all day long.
Yeah. So, any questions or comments, Dr. Knoll? Any words that you want to say?
No, I have really enjoyed my work here, and it's been fun. And I'm excited for what's coming and what's new. And I love to see us growing and evolving, which is the best thing. So just wish you all well. Call me if you need me. I might be home.
Well, thank you, Dr. Knoll. I mean, I do want to say that I think you're I mean, you, ever since I came on the board 8 years ago, I mean, I think you saw how the board evolved.
Yeah.
You know, so I do want to thank you. You were always very professional, respectful. Whenever I had a question or something that I didn't understand, I would always call you, and you were there, and so I do want to thank you for your years of service with us. With me, you were always there. You witnessed the whole transition of me starting with the board. So thank you for that. We really appreciate it. We're gonna miss you.
I'm going to miss it here too. I'm not thinking about it.
So, need a motion?
So moved.
Motion was made by Ms. Clark,
Second.
second by Ms. Torres. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. 7.3, discussion and possible action to approve the superintendent contract. And the contract is under executive content for all board members to see. Hope you all had that time to review it. Questions, comments, or need a motion?
So moved.
Motion was made by Ms. Delgadillo,
Second.
second by Ms. Clark. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Official action. 7.4, discussion of services provided by International Global Alliance.
So we have several artifacts for you there. We have a list of the teachers that we have hired through International Global Alliance. And there's also a letter from describing to you as a board what we are doing. We have 10 foreign teachers that are returning to the home countries. And so we're going to need to be able to fill those positions. And so what we would like to, we'd like to continue using International Alliance Group to fill positions in the coming year. IAG specializes in providing comprehensive support to both international teachers and school districts. Previously, the district took on the handling of immigrant paperwork and J-1 visas and all that, and it was very difficult and a mess to take care of. So we use a portion of the contract for the cost of IAG. So with the savings we have with international teachers, we are able to pay for that. So we're not spending more money on those international teachers. And so we've appreciated the work with Dr. Avila and Dr. Spring and the HR office. They've been very, very helpful to us. The International Global Alliance, there's a flyer there just under the public content as a flyer, and it talks about the things that they do. So they have pre-service training. They do 10 plus hours of coursework with the teacher prior to their arrival in the U.S. to facilitate acculturation and acclimation. And the topics include historical and current state of education system, high leverage teaching strategies, classroom management, lesson planning, and professional conduct. And then there's professional learning series where they do instruction on technology, high leverage practices to support autistic learners, engagement strategies, and addressing maladaptive behavior. And then there's specialized supports. And they have access to a team of specialists, individualized training, and coaching and support. So when we had a recent issue that involved one of our international teachers, this organization steps in to help that person take care of the things that they need to take care of. And so it's kind of another angle, because there's only so much we can do as the employer, and this is a different angle that they can come in and be of service to that person. So Dr. Erica Avila is our other person that we've been working with. She's not, is she on? I don't think so.
We have Erica, Michael Sanders, and Dr. Miriam.
So if you have any questions for them, we can ask them questions about their services.
Questions or comments? So that means before, let's say, any teacher that is hired, that is not from our country, that comes under this program, so they do get that training, so that it's not so much of a culture shock.
It is a culture shock anyway. You know, it's like somebody telling you, well, it's like this, but then when you get there, then it's, you know,
Right.
you're really living it. So it is a difficult adjustment for them. But yes. Are they online, Tony? Would they like to answer that question? Yeah. We're wondering, can you hear us?
Professional development is not very specialized. Does bring that knowledge from coming from the country. And once they are here, teach up settled and gain something that maybe the principal would like them to focus on, you know.
So whenever we have a teacher, how often do you follow up with them, or is that something that we follow up on our end to see how they're doing?
Well, but obviously you're going to want to have, you know, someone in community building. But we also reach out to them to see how they're doing. I want to say probably around once a month, but probably more than
Okay, so International Alliance reaches out to them at least once a month. What about on our end? How often do we do it? Is it the same for each campus, or is it different?
Well, they're involved with what's happening at the campus for us, where they're just a part of our other teachers. so they get the same training that our other teachers get. I don't know that there's anything different for them at the campus. Dr. Avila, would you address that? Is there anything different at each campus? Is it all the same?
So this is Dr. Rolla. Dr. Rolla is able to hear you, but she is not able to respond. But I texted her. She says, I see my face, but I don't hear it.
Okay.
So my question is, how often do we recheck?
Yes, that's the question.
And so wait for her to respond. She says she's unmuted. Can you hear her?
No.
Monthly check-ins.
Okay.
It's her
Now, is there, once a month, is there like a number, let's say, for example, a first-year teacher or a second-year teacher, is there a number of years? Do they continue following up throughout their tenure with?
So just to clarify, you have to have a minimum amount of years of experience before you can even be considered for being a J. And so we have experienced teachers coming, they're just not experienced.
Okay.
And I got a text from Dr. Erica Avila saying that she was just on site last. And that if there's other needs that we hear about, that we customize. So more needed in person.
So it's safe to say that every school campus works closely with International Alliance Group, right? To
Yeah.
tailor the needs of each teacher, because I see that there's a teacher at TDS and the majority are at some SMS.
Oh, that's nice. Mhm. Yeah.
Yes, each of your sites has an academic coach. We also provide online professional. And then, of course, on as needed basis, if someone comes up. They might need some help with cost management, we'll do something very customized.
It's, we have other teachers on campus that are not international teachers that need the same training.
Right.
So usually those things cluster together. You need classroom management, you need handling of discipline issues, all that for new teachers, novice teachers, so they kind of fit in with that group too. So.
Yeah. I don't have any other questions or comments. Anyone else?
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Dr. No, as I'm looking at this list, the majority are at the middle school. So these individuals come with the background of expertise like in math and ELA and social studies, or we're just filling the hole?
No, they come with that background, with those qualifications, experience teaching in those areas, but it's not experience in our country, so we have to make adjustments.
If we do quite an intense certification review, make sure that all or what they're wanting, what the district needs. So if we need the available, we would propose to have that experience, and of course they get interviewed by the school district and the principal, and it's all the choices completely on for you.
Thank you.
Just a comment for me. I know from, my own kids who attend the middle school, they come home raving about their international teachers. And as a scholar, I also think that global education is wonderful. And I just think that, having representatives from these countries is great. And I'd love to see some more maybe culture nights, to kind of also, be more inclusive of our international teachers. But I know as far as, my boys who are in band, Mr. Cox is the most wonderful teacher, and they can't say enough good things about him. So I'm grateful that we are able to do this and hope that we can fill the next 10. 10 is what we're looking for. So just that comment.
I like that idea. TDS has the World Fair every year, so that's awesome.
It's nice they're from different countries.
Yeah.
It's not all from one location.
So, any other questions or comments before we move on? Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Okay, moving on to 7.5, approval of first reading for policy advisor number 763-786.
So we have been a little busy lately, and we got this 2 days before we're ready to publish the agenda. So I did make my notes on the attachment like usual, but Ms. Say hasn't made her notes yet. And so we did want to give it to you for first reading. We'll have to go through all of them. You can see the notes that I've made where some things are okay, some are question marks. We might have to make changes in what we're doing on our implementations, and I'll need to involve some other people in it. So I did a first reading through it, and so you have it there so that you can go through and see. That first listing is just kind of the listing, and then the next page, on the page 2, it starts giving like a brief description, and then later it gives the actual full-blown policy. And so there's only one that applies to high school, so I'll be advising us not to pass that when it happens. And then you can see I've put the name of some different staff that I'm going to consult with on the various other ones. But we're just going through. Most of them are just changes to comply with new laws that became effective this year. So,
Questions or comments? Need a motion?
this is for a first read.
First reading.
So moved.
Motion was made by Ms. Delgadillo,
Second.
second by Ms. Clark. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. 7.6, approval to offer a contract to certified staff providing funding is obtained and certification requirements are met for FY 24-25.
So Esperanza did put a message to you and a PDF to help you remember what this is. But basically, we offer the same contract at the same amount they're being paid now, with the clause that when we get the state funding, then we will adjust the contract. Other districts, many districts in our area, will give the contract based on prior year funding. So they'll get funding from the state and hold on to it for a year and put it in the next year's contract. We've always used the current year. We give them the contract, they're with us, and then when we get the funding from the state, we give that to them that year. So this is what this is a list of those that we have contracts for. By approving this, then we know where our openings are. We can begin posting for those openings.
Questions or comments? Need a motion?
So moved.
Motion was made by Ms. Delgadillo,
Second.
second by Ms. Clark. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to 7.7, discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve or deny to release of Cruz Sandoval from her contract FY 23-24 effective 1/24/24. And there is a letter under executive content.
Make a motion to approve the release of Cruz Sandoval from her contract.
I think there's a mistake, though. This is resignation will be effective 1/24.
And her letter says different, huh?
Her letter says May.
So the resignation, according to the letter, is effective May 24th, 2024, because she's currently there. If I recall correctly, she is not.
Look at the
teaching.
second, look at item 7.8 under executive content.
Yeah, she's currently not at the school. I remember we put her on a leave, so, but her resignation date would be May 24. Her official resignation date would be May 24, which is the end of the school year. I'll make a motion to approve to release Ms. Cruz Sandoval with effective date of May 24, 2024.
Well, what
Wait a
did,
minute,
yeah,
you need to,
But her letter says different.
yeah.
ISB, you hear the problem?
I just wanted to, the letter has made, but because this on the vote will not return, we use the effective date of the letter that she submitted her resignation, so she will not be returning. Normally, we usually use the last day of work, but in her case, we use the date of the letter for effective date.
Does it matter either way for her? Does she get some benefit or loss, or if it's one way or another?
No, because she was only with Dudley, it's just allows the payroll office and the office to close up the records.
Because she's already on leave without pay, so it doesn't, whether it's May or January, isn't gonna harm her in any way.
And the recommendation. And the recommendation is here, make it effective as is 1/24/24, right?
Yes.
Okay, make a motion to release Cruz Sandoval from her contract for fiscal year 23-24, effective date January 24 of 2020.
Motion was made by Ms. Delgadillo,
Second.
second by Ms. Clark. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. 7.8, discussion and possible action to waive or fine 1% of Cruz Sandoval FY 23-24 contract.
Since she's already on leave without pay, it's not like she's been earning money at this time, so that's why we said we shouldn't fine this release.
Make a motion to approve, to waive the 1%.
Motion was made by Ms. Delgadillo,
Second.
second by Ms. Torres. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. 7.9, discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve or deny to release of Mark Mills from his contract FY 23-24, effective 2/13/24. And
We're
there's,
happy to receive a letter of resignation, and we'd like to receive it, and there will be other legal actions and different things going on in the future, but we won't be a part of that. That'll be that business.
and there are 2 letters under executive content.
Make a motion to approve the release of Mr. Mark Mills from his contract, resignation to be effective to today, February 13, 2024.
Motion was made by Ms. Delgadillo, second by Ms. Clark. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to 7.10, discussion and possible action to waive or fine $1,500 of Mills FY 23-24 contract. And again, there's 2 letters under executive content.
Make a motion to approve and waive the fine of $1,500 of Mark Mills 23-24 contract.
Motion was made by Ms. Clark,
Second.
second by Ms. Torres. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. 7.11, discussion and possible action to approve the school calendar for school year FY 24-25.
So because we normally do 2 calendars at a time, it was a little bit confusing for some of our staff. They're thinking we're doing a whole new calendar. So that was kind of interesting, but we did meet with several staff members, explain, no, this is the same principles of the calendar that was approved, applied to the next year. And then when we put out the survey, you can see on the survey results, the graph, where's the one that shows the, we had 80, there were 294 responses. 96.9% were active, full, or part-time employees. And 85.7% agree the calendar meets the needs of the district and no changes are required. 14.3% do not agree the calendar meets the needs of the district. We had a lot of discussion. The part that gets objectionable has to do with Good Friday. Mostly, that seems to be the thing that's the most difficult thing. But when the percentages came out, like when I met with the superintendent's council, they said, well, that's probably true. There's, 14% to 85%. 85% doesn't matter to them, and the 14 it might matter. So we're recommending that we do the calendar as it was designed and just move forward. We will be drafting a new calendar for the next 2 years in short enough time, and we can make adjustments at that time if we need. Right now, this seems to fit people's need.
They're coming back in July?
Yeah, it fluctuates between that first part of August and the end of July, depending on when it lands.
No, but the teachers.
That's what I mean.
No. Where the calendar says that returning teachers come back July 22nd.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that the actual dates adjust a little bit based on when the dates land on the calendar. They still have the same number of weeks during the vacation time, the summertime, and they have two added work days, which we paid them for 2 added days in last year, or this year we're living in. But last year we increased their pay by 2 days, and that's all that has been added. Then other than that, we adjusted so that the weeks, they have the whole week off, like Thanksgiving. That's not a new change, but that's something that we did in last calendar also. Take the whole week at Thanksgiving and just try to,
Mr. Rita,
yeah.
on the return of the new teachers, they always come in 5 days before the regular teachers, so they have come in the middle of July this year. So they normally come in before August. So then they do the July 22nd, you mentioned, is the normal day that new teachers return before August for the new teacher induction.
Well, the new
No,
teacher
it says
induction starts
returning
July
teachers
12th.
July 22nd.
Yeah, the returning teachers are the 22nd, and the new teachers come in July 12th.
July 12th.
I mean, me by looking at the calendar, I mean, I see that 85% that they were okay with it. But I think, you know, if let's just say if what staff is in favor, to me, they're 85% that they're for it. But I mean, if you wanted to start later, that you would have to make up the day somewhere else. So I mean, I look at it as October, there's fall break. November, there's another full week off for Thanksgiving, Christmas, the winter break, that's 3 full weeks. So I mean, if you're just playing with the days, you either get those off as it is, where 85% of the staff are okay, and that equals the earlier start time. But if we start later, August, because I was reading some of the comments, we started in August, then where are you going to make up those days? So that means cutting into October fall break, November Thanksgiving, or even cutting winter break.
Spring break is also a full week.
Right,
And the last day of school is before the Memorial Day weekend, which is kind of nice too.
right. So it's at least for me, I mean, if 85% of the staff that took the survey are 85.7 are okay with it, reading some of the comments, I mean, I understand what they're saying, but at the same time, can't have the best of both worlds. Start in early August and then have all those breaks, right. So I mean, I love the calendar the way it is, because I think it gives everyone that mental break. We're always encouraging self-care, and I think it sets up for that. That's just my opinion. And then 85.7% of the staff agreed with it. But I understand the start in July. I mean, it seems kind of like, oh, but then I'm like, you get a week off in October, you get another week off in November, you get 3 full weeks in winter.
And a week off.
I think we're the only district that really does that, countywide, right? Because I think, actually, no, I think Yuma District 1 does 3 weeks for winter break.
Creighton.
Crane 2, 3 full weeks. So, I mean, any additional comments for the calendar? I mean, my thoughts.
It's good.
What do you think?
I'm just like, dang, July?
I was gonna suggest rodeo days, like Tucson does.
Huh?
Just kidding. Rodeo days. It's a holiday.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. I think this is a good recruiting tool. So need a motion?
Make a motion to approve the school calendar fiscal year 24-25 as stated.
Motion was made by Ms. Clark. Second by Ms. Torres. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. 7.12, discussion and possible action to approve the open enrollment capacity FY 24-25.
This is a requirement annually, and so it has to be brought in, and you guys have to say yea or nay.
Make a motion to approve as stated.
Motion was made by Ms. Delgadillo,
Second.
second by Ms. Clark. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. 7.13, approval of out-of-town field trip for Orange Grove.
Taking kinder.
That is awesome.
I don't think we've ever seen that.
And you have plenty of chaperones, 6 to 8.
And there's,
Yeah.
I don't remember that, but that's pretty cool. I'm sure it is. Make a motion to approve the out-of-town trips for Orange Grove.
Motion was made by Ms. Delgadillo,
Second.
second by Ms. Torres. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. 7.14, discussion protocol between leadership and the board during urgent sensitive events.
So SB Massey and I have been talking about how we could put into words the communication back and forth, and SB drafted this protocol, and it seems to reflect our thoughts, so we thought we'd bring it to your attention, see if it reflects your thinking.
I know for me, Dr. Nolan, we've had this conversation. I perfectly understand the need for protecting everyone's confidentiality. But when certain situations come up that we as a board must know, I think a general statement saying this is what's going on right now. Things are being investigated. We'll update you with the follow-up. At least for me, that goes a long way. There has been times where I get a phone call from a constituent and they're like, "Hey, what's happening here?" And I'm glad they have me on the phone because they can't see my face, and I'm like, I have no clue, no idea what's going on. So at least for me, I mean, I know I understand the privacy, protecting everyone's, but if something happens that needs to be reported to us, I would really appreciate just a simple, this is going on. Again, with no identifying details, this is where we're at. We'll follow up. That way, when someone from the community gets a hold of us, we don't have this deer in the headlights look and not know what's happening. I know it's happened quite a few times, maybe 2 times, where a constituent has found out through a constituent, and where I feel that the lines of communication needs to come from our superintendent. Just again, not share the details, not share the name, but like, hey, here's the situation. We'll follow up with you as more information becomes available. I understand sometimes everyone might be busy, but if you guys are a team, maybe one can just focus on, hey, just keep the board updated and the rest do everything else while everything falls in place. Again, if it's depending on the situation, I mean, we understand that some things need to be handled right away in the moment, but after a while, after you have your team, just kind of let us know. At least for me, that's how I feel. I mean, I don't need to know all the little greedy details or anything, but just a little heads up on situations.
That's our desire. The problem is, in reality, we can't seem to be faster than Facebook and parents that tell one to another. Can't seem to beat that system, that communication system. We have to go through the regular protocols, which include law enforcement, safe, making sure things are safe. That is a priority, to make sure the child, the teacher, whoever, that what's happened is safe. And by the time we know what's happened and we're trying to tell you, you've already found out from somebody else who maybe was in the situation or stood there and watched what happened, and we weren't standing there watching what happened. So it's a little tricky. I hear you, and SB and Kim and I have really talked about how can we do it faster. We have to be responsive to the attorneys, to the law. We can't assume, so depending on how we say it. So I gave you an alert today. I don't know if you got it by email.
That was
and then
perfect.
right away I was able to give you a second thing. So we can do that kind of thing most of the time, but we can't promise to do it every time, because sometimes we're going, okay, did you talk to the attorney? Did you talk to this? And do we now, can we say this now? Do the police officers say we can say this? Are they busy trying to get, sometimes the officer wants you to wait because they're doing something and they don't want you to alert before they're doing what they're doing. So we hear you and we want to do that. We'll try to do better.
I think
don't know how.
today's message was perfect, because it was just, it just made us aware of, something that a possible situation. And to me, I mean, that's, I mean, I don't think that we're violating or putting ourselves in any position of liability, because nothing really was shared. It's just, hey, just keep.
And all of the staff, depending on what the situation is, our first concern is the safety of everyone involved. So that becomes the priority, is that where's the child, where's the teacher, where's the law enforcement, is this all? So we're all doing that, and that sometimes does cause us a delay also. But we hear you, we agree with you, we want to give you the information as quick as we can, so we'll try to do better.
And I just think, I mean, again, I understand that you you have your team and you guys might be caught up doing, taking care of the issue, but I don't know, maybe assign someone to, like, hey, make sure this is happening, so.
I have a comment, back to what you were saying. I concur with what you're saying, and Dr. Noor, you're mentioning that, you guys are busy and you're waiting for public safety to say what you can say, or contacting the attorneys. When you're saying that you're waiting for the attorneys to contact you or give you the verbiage, but that's not what we're looking for. We're just looking for, this is going on, there's a situation at B school, C school, and we will notify you once we have details, or once we know what's going on. That's it. We don't need to know. The situation at SMS, I already knew. And I waited, and I'm like, I'm going to see how long it takes for us to get notified by administration. But obviously the what got to me and what was given to me is two different things, and that's okay, because as you said, people sometimes say more than what they should, or
we don't know the facts.
we don't know the
figuring out
facts.
what are the facts
But I did measure how long it took administration to notify us. I've said it many, many times. We live in a community that we all know each other. We all visit each other. And so just a simple text, Mary's great in sending us that, you have an email. Let's check your email really quick. Just one sentence. There's a situation at B school, D school. We will notify you once we know more. That's it. And then I think that should be easy. Assign someone, because I'm pretty sure you just mentioned that SB, you and Kim are working at different things, but I'm sure one of them has 1 minute to spare, just to send an email, just to notify us this is what's going on. Because I don't want to be caught just like, and we have been, well, did you know? No, of course I knew, but no, I didn't know. Of course I knew. What do you think of course I knew? I'm on the board. Of course I knew, but I didn't know. Now you know whoever told me. I didn't know. So things like that. Just a simple sentence, Dr. No, I think.
We'll try to, where, an example is that the information came to us in the evening. We were all at home, the three of us. We got the information. I immediately started texting, and I got a call from Mr. Castillo before I could even finish the text. I had to say,
Yeah.
Mr. Castillo,
I'm
I
like, hey,
can't talk to you. I'm trying to notify the board of what I just found out. So I think that kind of thing happens to us, but I hear you. I understand what you're saying. We will work on making that system work. And I tried to do that today. I hope that was the kind of thing you were looking
Yeah.
for. But we're trying to do better, but it's very difficult. It's a lot of decision making. We don't know when to, oh no, can we say that or can we not say that?
I would like to add, again, agreeing with what you're all saying, and it reminds me of like my military training, right, where you have triage and then we have after action reports. Have we done a debrief about crisis response? Do the teachers know what to do? The teachers at, whatever school the incident is happening at. Perhaps we can improve that process by, having a training as a part of, the beginning of the school year. Because that's what it sounds like. It's more, we're reactive and we don't have a plan. And so what Mr. Castillo and Mr. Gadillo are saying is, can we designate people? And then can those people know they're designated to do that task, right? Otherwise, again, that's where things get lost in translation. So I do think we can improve. And I do think today's email was perfect. Because again, like you mentioned, Dr. Knoll, people that happen to be in the room being students, right? Students talk, right? And so, there's been times where my own kids have told me about incidents before, I'm notified. And so it's definitely something I think we can improve
Sometimes
upon.
we don't hear about it until after it's gone through the channels through the school, so what we hear is delayed also as they explore what's happened. So
Right.
you hear
So I
from
think-
your kids, you hear,
Yeah.
before we have even gotten the message. So, but we will try to improve that. We've talked about it. We've tried to figure out ways. We even thought about maybe just prepare an automated statement so that we can just click on that, add in and fill in a few blanks, something to make it
Whatever
faster.
works, as long as we get the message. So, Ms. Clark, you want to add anything or?
No, well, having experience in a school setting and things can happen out of the blue in the middle of the day, end of the day, the principal has to take charge and start their investigation and figure out how they're going to work things. I mean, I know the chaos that can go behind all of that. But yes, once there is, the principal should be advising the district office what's going on as it's happening. I agree with my constituents here that, a better, I hadn't even seen that email until just now, sorry. But I understand the need to advise us. I just know that there might be a slight delay. I understand that. Working in a middle school setting, it's crazy. And I understand that sometimes it can be delayed, but not like hours and hours.
Right.
But yeah, I agree.
Anything else? This is just for discussion, so anything else we want to add before we move on? Dr. No? Good?
We're going to do our very best. Maybe Mr. Duran will be able to fix it all. We'll try to get it in order. Mr.
You'll make it happen, Dr. No. Make it happen.
We're going to do it.
So moving on to 7.15, discussion regarding cell phone policy at SMS.
So we just wanted to make sure that you were clear on what we did. The first PDF shows the previous policy. And what we did is we eliminated what used to be a first offense, second offense. And we notified the parents that we're going to the
we're not giving chances. If the cell phone is seen at all, it's being confiscated, taken to the office, and the parent can pick it up there. And that's not saying are they using it or not. We're saying if we see it at all, if they start to pull it out of their pocket, if we see it anywhere at all, it's going to be taken to the office, and the parent can pick it up at the office. And we are going to consider some changes to the policy. We can do this that we've talked about under the existing policy, but we want to look at other model policies and see if we can't be more clear in our policy for parents and families. And I'm also collecting from the handbooks of each of the other schools, so that if we do something and it changes something for one of the schools, we can make sure and take that into consideration or let them know. So we do it, whatever we do at a policy level needs to be reflected in all of the handbooks and the enforcement of the policy. So right now, this policy change that we made for the middle school in their handbook has helped a lot. So we're really staying with that for now anyway there. Unless you have any suggestions of something you want us to do different, right now this seems to be working.
I have a question. On the, on this contract or this document, it says, this is how our staff keeps track of the amount of electronic equipment offenses a student has made. But, is there a limit? Is there, after so many offenses,
No, we haven't yet. We haven't gone to that yet. Because what is it going to be? So, if you think it through, so after the third time, then we're going to what? We're going to keep the phone? I don't think so. We'll be taking the property. Ultimately, it becomes the parent's responsibility. So we haven't figured out an end clause. It seems enough of a hassle for the parent to have to come to the office to pick it up. So.
I think for me, Dr. No, I think it's just whatever, limits the distractions within the classroom. I think you take measures, whatever you see fits, whatever the staff see fits, give us those recommendations. I'm pretty sure it might be in a way similar, but in a way different from every campus. But I think, I just want to limit those instructional interruptions and distractions. So, I think as long as we let the parents know and we inform them, this is why. I think as long as we inform the why we're doing what we're doing, I think our community will respond well to it. But just making sure that that's our priority. Like, we don't want to, we want to limit those.
We need to get back to math, language arts, science, and not be, trying to document.
And if all the kids are meeting and exceeding, then we can be more flexible. But until then.
Even then, we're not going to fight. Even if you're meeting or exceeding, you're not allowed to fight.
but it's also for their safety,
Right.
that it's just been going on crazy.
Yeah. Anything else anybody want to add? That enough for you, Dr. No?
Yeah, we're working on it.
7.16, discussion regarding formation of the capital committee.
So Paul Yulin, who's our advisor on this, he is suggesting that we have a committee of 10 to 15 people and that we meet 3 times. He suggests twice in March and once in April, before the April board meeting, so that if the group wants to, they can recommend to the board to go for a bond or an override and have a list of the projects they consider to be priority. So I've been doing those big community meetings, and I have a list that I'm generating. I have 2 more to do this month. So that list, when it's complete, will need a group of people to kind of look over it and prioritize and help sort out what they think might be recommended. So Paul Yulin was saying what we might want to do is go ahead and finish the public meetings, but maybe start inviting some of those people who attended the public meeting and offered suggestions, maybe invite some people to be a part of that committee. so that then we have 3 committee meetings that where we actually are going through and sorting the stuff. So what I wanted to know from you is what do you want your involvement in? Do you want to be a part of suggesting people for that meeting? We need, once you guys call for, if in March, we should be able to present the list to you. That's the public meeting, the whole list from all the public meetings. In April, we should have the committee be able to give you a draft of what they consider the priorities. And then in May, you could potentially take action to go for a bond or override to do those activities. But once you do that, you can't talk about it anymore. None of us that are in the school system are allowed to talk about the bond or the override. So the committee, because they are not us, the committee can talk about it, and they can be the ones to answer questions from the public or make statements about why we're going for the override or the bond. So that's the way he explained the actions of the committee. So what I'm wondering is if that's what you want me to follow, that's what his recommendation is. And then if so, do you want to recommend people to the committee, people who are community members other than those that we might invite from the capital meetings?
No, I mean, I think for us, I mean, this is open to the public, really. So, I mean, if I would want people that are interested, not kind of like voluntold, you know. But to me, it's those that have shown interest, I think should be part of it. And also, I think this is a great opportunity for the community to really get involved and kind of they're going to be our biggest advocates for this. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'd say just people that have shown interest. I think if we say this person or this person, we might be voluntold someone. I don't know. Just my thoughts.
Well, I think, we already have members of PTOs and stuff who may also be interested that are already invested. And, can maybe just piggyback off of PTO meetings or whatnot. But I think that we recruit from that pool, that would be good, as well as having, making sure there is representation from each school.
And those PTO parents know exactly the needs of those schools
Right.
and campuses.
So just a recruitment, again, not making them go, but letting them know this opportunity is available.
I was thinking I would ask him, I would say, I'm wondering if you would be willing to serve on this committee. We need someone that can come to 3 meetings and will, Paul was saying that usually the meeting is like a little more than an hour because you have a small group and you're looking at a list and you're prioritizing it. And the staff, Martine and I and the staff will put prices, costs of the different things, estimates, so they can see that. But basically, they'll be helping us to prioritize. And Paul said that the best way to help your override to go through or bond, whatever you do, is to make sure that each school has something in it that will help them at each school. So, that would be like selecting what's the one main thing. I can tell you at TDS, they want their looper lane paved. That's what they want. You hear it again and again. Well, once the looper lane's paved, then this, then that. Everything's secondary. Of course, it's probably because when I went, it was right after a rainy day. And they had been in a bunch of mud. They were very sensitive to their unpaved looper lane that day. But I mean, why not? Those could be, every school may have something that they would consider priority. I know the parent at Orange Grove, she had safety concerns, little pieces of things that playground equipment that's next to the fence that's for the real little kids. It's really dilapidated and it really needs to be moved away from that fence. And so that kind of thing, if there's something we could do at each school that would benefit each school, then that might be the way to get what we need. Well, I'll be asking people then. I'll look for PTO members. I'll look for the people who participated in the committees that were willing to come, and I'll start just trying to gather that group then of 10 to 15 people. So at the March meeting, then I'll try to present, at the March meeting, I'll present to you the list, and hopefully I'll have the committee names, so you can say if that's, that committee names are okay. And then we can meet, and by April board meeting, we should be able to give you a draft of what our recommendations are.
Ms. Delgadillo?
Is this for the elections for November or next year?
For this November.
Okay. I just have a comment. I was on the board, on the bond override committee many years ago before being on the board here for our district. And we did take advantage of the PTO meetings. I was volunteered to be the speaker. So I would go to all these meetings and advocate to all the parents. And we also were at the polling site. And so, it's important that those individuals that are advocating for our district and that are meeting and are dedicated to be in this committee also be at the polling site. I remember being there from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. and many people would come and say, why? And so it's important. And this is for when we had the expansion for Valle del Encanto and the library or the media center for Orange Grove. So things like that we were there to advocate. It was under the direction of Mr. Cabrera. So I think it is important to make sure that those individuals also know that it's important for them to follow through all the way through the election day. That's all.
Good.
Okay, I'll get to it.
Thank you, Dr. Noel. So moving on to 7.17, discussion and possible action regarding a board work study retreat.
Did we just have one?
Oh, this would be more for a work session, the goals, action steps, progress monitoring. This was kind of, I'm thinking with our new superintendent coming in, us having it, he's here right now. So, I don't know if we want to put a date and time right now, but I think this is something, it's something important for us to kind of start looking into so that we, so that we're all on the same page. I know you're scheduled to come in July 1st. Is that something that we want to have maybe in July? What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Can we go wait? It's too far to July. Not you, but it's because I'm going to be going on vacation. I don't know what the dates are.
It would. I'm thinking it would probably be like a.
During the week.
I'm okay during the week, but there's some people that work during the week. July I'll be off. I'm available.
Not.
We could have it.
Are you thinking of like a Friday night, Saturday, or are you thinking of?
No, I can't do that.
No weekend? Evenings, maybe two or three evenings? What do you guys think?
I think weekdays are fine. How long are we talking?
Huh? As long as it takes us to get it done.
It really depends on where you want to cover like your goals, device, and see if we're meeting them, presents data that supports the goals that you guys have progressed. It's a good start to a particular school year, and we can kind of see it through. It really depends. You can take, we've done it for 5-6 hours on a Saturday. But you can definitely compact it.
Should we hire someone to help facilitate that? What are your thoughts on that?
I think the first year, coming in as a new superintendent, I would definitely depend on a team in the district to support delivering some of the information that pertains to the departments and schools. But I think the facilitation can come from.
Okay.
Because you can be defining who's going to be doing what we can report on what's happened in the past, what's coming up next, and talk about the goals system. Yeah.
So I guess that's something that, I mean, we don't have to discuss it right now. We don't have to kind of set it in stone right now. But I mean, if we're not, if it's not going to be on a Saturday, maybe during the week, I'll tell you my availability. I'm good during the week from July 15th through the 24th. Anytime. I'm flexible.
And if I can add, I mean, if one hasn't been done yet, this point, this magnitude, it can be whatever it is. Looking at the current goals and try to justify the progression that this have happened to this point. And obviously, if it's an annual or biannual, practice, then we can.
Right. And I am thinking this could be an annual thing where we revisit and say, okay, are these the goals we want? Or how are we going to progress monitor, everything? So.
Mr. Jerome, they want to know right away if something happens.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Right away.
Right away.
So we'll let you know, but we're looking at during the week then? Do we be during the week? During the week towards mid-July towards,
So we have new teachers coming back July 12th and returning teachers coming back July 22nd. So just so you know, keep in mind, July's a busy time, but it's good. We do have goals and we have been measuring them, and we've been, every year we update and evolve, and we even have a document of our goals.
We can start in June.
Good. It'll be easy to do. Can we do June?
Like a day
well,
for each.
well, if we do June, I mean, Mr. Duron doesn't come on board until July 1st, so.
Yeah, I think I've seen them volunteering.
Me too. Volunteer. Maybe one a week.
Yeah.
So we'll discuss it.
Sounds good.
So, you good with that, Mr.
Yeah, I
Duron?
can also plan prior to it.
That works?
Yep.
That works. So, moving on to 8.1, any recommendation from the board for future agenda items?
Before we adjourn, we have a TDS.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
A little bit late after everybody else had left.
Oh, we should have done it earlier.
Interrupt us.
Oh. Yeah.
Actually, get a picture.
The TDS. No, I came in after everybody had left. Now I can see the emails
Alright, so we have Carlos Kenny Cornelas from TDS, 5th grade. Congratulations. Thank you for waiting patiently and hearing all of our board meeting. Congratulations.
A future board member.
Certificate for that.
Yeah. So, okay, so 8.1, any recommendations from the board for future agenda items? If you have any, you can just let me know, at least a week prior, because Dr. Nolan and I meet to set up the agenda. And 8.2, ASBA calendar of events 2024. There. Need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion was made by Ms. Delgadillo,
Second.
second by Ms. Clark. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We're adjourned.